Hello, welcome to Greg's Insight Talk. This time, education as an essential social institution is our topic of discussion. This lecture is the second part of our discussion on major social institutions. Let us pause for a while and reflect on why we send our child or children to school or why we went to school. You might say, what an elementary question. But please hold on to your answer until the end of this lecture. You might have something new for you, or there might be something new for you as we go on. Education is one of the pillars of our society, playing a crucial role in the progression of societal processes and culture as a whole. Its definition might vary from different or different perspectives and cultures, yet we will tackle the sociological viewpoint of such a significant social institution. In a communal or collective term, education refers to social institutions where children of all ages learn academic and practical skills of the greater society's social and cultural norms, meaning a reinforcement of social values and beliefs that would fit into the current social system. However, we must remember that the learning process starts when we are born. Thus, we must first recognize that such learning is an informal education process in which infants watch and imitate people around them. Then, as infants grow into young children, the learning process becomes more formal through play-based preschooling. From there, learning continues in a standard or structured way alongside an informal methods in various ways. For example, from family orientation to interaction outside the home, such as the school and the peer groups. Now, let us describe the two basic types of education that demonstrate education processes from informal to formal learning. On the one hand, informal education is unplanned and is spontaneous learning outside the school setting. For example, behaviors, good manners and proper conduct. Of course, the norms and values emanate from family interactions as the primary step towards socialization outside the home. In this sense, and at birth, the family is the primary agent of socialization, although it might not see itself in this critical role. In this instance, the parents implied to be their children's first teachers, teaching good values, manners, and proper conduct as initial steps towards socializing outside their home. On the other hand, formal education refers to a structured learning system that runs from primary to university. Educational institutions implement the learning process based on curricula. For example, the K-12, the primary to secondary levels, and post-secondary and tertiary programs that focus on particular specialization. Hence, both formal and informal education involves cultural transmission. Various terms refer to cultural transmission, such as multiculturalism, inclusion, integration, and globalization in a broader sense. It is essential also to know the significance and role and functions of education. We must realize why people at a very young age need a solid educational foundation, from the family, that is the informal, to the formal school system. Formal education is free and compulsory from kindergarten to grade 12 in most countries, particularly in rich nations. Today, Education has four significant functions. Socialization is the first, second is social integration, third is social placement, and fourth, social and cultural innovation. These functions will explain why children need to participate in the processes of learning institutions and how crucial it is as a social institution. Let us outline its social role of education. First, socialization is the most critical function of education, a process by which members of society learn to be proficient and productive citizens. It is a lifelong process of internalizing their social group's cultural norms, values, and behaviors from birth to late adulthood. For example, self-regulation, which is a process of calming our mind and managing our behavior or self-control, especially at times of conflict or anger in dealing with others. Primary socialization within the family is a critical foundation of social skills for managing emotions, thoughts, and behavior towards socialization from an early age. I chose this example because even adults could not regulate themselves in a worse situation involving themselves. Those skills are reinforced and nurtured outside the home, such as the school, peers, media, and other groups of people interacting with each other, are also known as secondary agents of socialization. The second function of education is social integration. It is the process of joining the young to a broader society and giving access to all areas of community life by subscribing to a standard set of beliefs, norms, and values. For instance, to be a good citizen by obeying simple instructions. Let us say, walking on pedestrian lanes and putting trash in designated trash bins. Social placement is the third function of education. This educational placement describes the capability of learners based on their strengths and weaknesses, such as being intellectually motivated, less driven, with a learning disability, or exceptional learners. This kind of categorization is the basis of teaching instructions that will suit them best to prepare them for their future lives. Thus, to meet expectations based on structured curricula, differentiated instructions, individual education plans, and regular instructions are prescribed or enforced by the school. One excellent example of this placement or classification is the special science schools or special education program. The fourth function of education is social and cultural innovation. The outcomes of our modern life and the shift in our social and cultural focus are products of the sophisticated minds of our scientists, thinkers, and artists, among other educated individuals in the subject areas they have chosen to explore. Perfect examples of this are advancement in technology, such as in the medical field, engineering, and artificial intelligence. The AI, as you may heard, that shape our social life and alter our traditional culture or ordinary life routine. Education as an institution changed its structure over time. In our current time, education does not only aim to teach the basics, such as the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, but trying to find solutions to complex problems brought by the constant change in society. Davis and Gopi is also cited by Carrigal Brown in her book, posit that we are currently living in a schooled society. In a schooled society. It is because continuous growth in modern schooling demonstrate increasingly becoming integral to everyday life, and its forms increase and diversify. Modern schools such as adult continuing education and online learning. Moreover, the given functions have two categories, which sociologists focus on. First, the manifest functions are intended and straightforward, such as basic knowledge and skills, reading, writing, and arithmetic, as I mentioned a while ago. Second, the latent functions are unintended, such as socialization, to fit into mainstream society. Selection is also said to be a latent function in which individual capability plays the roles expected of them. For example, for instance, educational achievement is the basis of one's employability. High school, your high school graduate or skilled trade, or having skilled trade certificates and professional degrees if you have diplomas or degrees. Many do not know that social placement requires legitimizing the knowledge or skills we acquire. The legitimization is similar to credentialing, as Collins said. It's also mentioned by Corrigal Brown in her book, which attests to the individual's qualification or competence by an authorized party. For example, the colleges and universities or any accredited training institutions. Overall, education supplies the human resources necessary to run our economy, serving society's needs. Today, we can observe that educational institutions train individuals based on society's demands for diversified trades and industries. It offers specialized skills training and upgrading to provide workers with expertise in their chosen trades or professions in a complex division of labor that describes the dynamics of modern society. Thus, children's education is the starting point for socializing in mainstream society. Then, later on, they are prepared to perform more significant social roles. Considerably, the familiar context or framework of gaining education is to perform an occupation for the economy. That is to have an excellent job opportunity. You are right. It is most likely our first answer to why we send our child or children to school. We are equipping them to participate actively in economic activities after schooling. However, that is not the end of education story. There are a lot more to delve in or prove next time. Thank you for watching Greg's Inside Talk, your way, our way of understanding pieces of social facts.